When you think of AMG, what comes to mind are images of big, powerful cars that create large plumes of white tire smoke as they exit corners. So there's some understandable confusion when you see the AMG badge on the back of the CLA45, which is the performance-oriented version of Mercedes-Benz's new entry-level and front-drive sedan. But being an AMG, it, of course, makes an incredible amount of grunt, 355 horsepower to be exact. And that makes it, thanks to direct injection and 26.1 pounds of boost, the most powerful production four-cylinder in the world. And with over 177 horsepower per liter, one of the most power-dense too. Wisely, AMG has also fitted the CLA with a 7-speed twin-clutch transmission and an all-wheel drive system that can deliver 50% of available torque to the rear wheels. With so much torque on tap and Ford-driven contact patches, the 45 accelerates impressively. Its launch control holds revs at 4,000 RPM before dumping the clutch. It's like starting a rally stage. Stopping power from the 13.8-inch front and 13-inch rear brakes was consistently powerful. The 45 posted a very impressive lap time around the figure 8. Its all-wheel drive system giving it huge traction on corner exit. While understeer is prevalent on power, the car could be coaxed into small slides to adjust its line.
So the CLA45 is a rather interesting car, and one I'm still trying to place. Because, well, first of all, it's an entry-level AMG. And because it's an entry-level AMG, it has a lot of cool things going for it. The biggest, and specifically the one that I think is the neatest, is that you have an engine built by one guy. And that's something unique to AMG, and that's something that this car has. And if you're looking at some of the competitors of this car, they don't have that. And so it's a cool bragging right. You know, bragging rights and other BS aside, how does this thing drive? Well, it's really interesting. The powertrain reminds me a lot of the Lancer Evolution, because it is the only other high-strung turbocharged four-cylinder car I can think of. This thing is ingesting over 26 pounds of boost, and it makes 355 horsepower out of a four-cylinder. They're making more than 177 horsepower per liter. That's just nuts. And if you love the way big turbo four-cylinders behave, you're gonna like the CLA45, because the engine has this sort of surgy, boosty sensation. It's a very unique characteristic of, you know, turbocharged four-cylinders that are dealing with a lot of boost. It isn't, I would say, all that tractable, but, you know, it is what it is. You can't beat physics. But once you get in the boost, once you get that sensation, it's incredible how fast this thing can get going. Part of that is the short gearing. The gearing is way shorter than you expect. Corners that you would take normally in second gear, you're doing in third. And around this track, it's getting caught up between, you know, just above the top of second and the low parts of third. Now, as for the handling, this is an all-wheel drive car, but it's not the most sophisticated all-wheel drive system. It's essentially a front drive car, you know, with that sends 50% of the power to the rear when the front tires start spinning. And that means your predominant handling characteristic is understeer on power. You can set it up into corners very nicely. There's a lot of precision in the car and a lot of stability in the really high speed stuff. This thing is able to hold on to some pretty impressive and incredible speeds through high speed sweepers. But once you get on the power, it's gonna be understood. It doesn't have the same sort of rotation on entry that you get out of the Focus ST or the Evo, but this car isn't as raw as those two. It's, you know, a Mercedes after all. It's got some more refinement, which, you know, is a welcome exchange. That said, it is nice driving this thing fast. The steering is agile and precise. I can put this car wherever I want it. The chassis loads up with a lot of response and tells you exactly what it's doing. This isn't a car that offers a lot of surprise. It doesn't offer a lot of challenge either. It is fun, but it's not exceptionally difficult. The transmission. It's a twin clutch transmission, shifts fast. Occasionally you'll run into red line, and that's kind of painful and embarrassing when you're driving in manual mode. But sport mode, which, you know, does the shifting for you, is pretty good. There's actually a function in here that will kind of give you this quasi-manual mode that works pretty well. And because, back to the handling balance, because we have so much stability in the car, you can throw this car really hard through corners that you might not try in more powerful rear drive vehicles for fear that they might spin out on you. This thing might be faster than I'm giving it credit for. It might be set up better than we're giving it credit for. Woohoo! Another thing about the CLA is the styling. And I think it's successful from some angles and then just weird from other angles. It's a mini CLS for sure. But from the rear three-quarter, it does have sort of the same look as the CLS. Just, you catch glimpses of it. And it looks elegant until you realize how small it is, and it's kind of like a party-sized CLS, a fun-sized CLS.
The CLA45 makes for a very interesting car. As a stepping stone into the AMG brand, it comes complete with the necessary attributes: standing start acceleration that's both extremely rapid and easily accessible, and, we'll say it one more time, the most powerful production four-cylinder in the world. As far as in-the-world bragging rights go, that's a strong one to have. It's a good driving car too, making the most of its hardware with good steering, good high-speed stability, and powerful acceleration as you go from corner to corner. But whether this is enough to sway people from the attractive styling and performance of the S4 or the rear drive 135i is something we can't wait to figure out.
That's what you say right before you take off the light.
See you later?
See you later.
I don't get it.
See you LA. See you later.
Oh.
It was a really good joke. You just you missed it.
Well, they say, you know, explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. Once you do, you know how the frog works, but you've killed it. Oh yeah, put your seatbelt on. See, that's all you get. You have to be like an absolute jackass in order to do it, though. But that's all you get.
I'm surprised it's not working for you then.
I know, because I'm the captain of jackass driving.